It is time for another one of our prospect previews here today, and this time we are talking about Ivar Stenberg, the Swedish forward who has really impressed a lot of people over the past few months, and there is a group of people who thinks he should go first overall, but where he really goes in the draft, for some people, is really questionable. Let's discuss. First off, if you are new to the channel, hit that like button down below and subscribe if you are new. We cover all things hockey here on this channel. We have started our prospect previews. We made our Gavin McKenna one. This is the second of 10 previews we are going to do of the prospects, and we are on to Ivar Stenberg here today. So Stenberg, a left wing / right wing, so we can do both positions there. He was born September 30th, 2007 in Stenungsund, Sweden. I believe I'm saying that right. So again, he's a Swedish-born forward. He is mentioned by elite prospects, 6 foot, 181 pounds, but I've seen some people profile him as 5'11". So he's on the lower end of 6 foot, I guess. But that's what the elite prospect says when I was doing the notes for this video. He's 181 pounds, or if you want to go to the other conversions, you have 182 centimeters and 82 kilograms. So there you go. But yeah, Stenberg, definitely a bit of an undersized forward, even though it does say 6 foot. There is some concern around that. There is going to be some concern around his size, and that may cause him to draft a little bit, or drop a little bit in the draft. You see that sometimes. I just never buy into that. Even though sometimes the GMs are hesitant about it, an undersized forward can always make an impact, regardless of that. Yeah, maybe they get roughed and toughed a little bit more, but I still think, like, Stenberg is still going to be a phenomenal player. His size is not necessarily going to change that, so I really don't buy into that narrative, to be honest with you. But yeah, Stenberg, again, his rankings, generally speaking, it looks like he's probably going to go number 2, but it will determine what the GMs think, of course. He's ranked number 1 by Consolidated Ranking, number 2 by Elite Prospects, number 2 by Craig Button, number 2 by the Daily Faceoff, number 1 by Sam Cosentino, and number 2 by Dauber Prospects. So, again, generally speaking, the consensus on Stenberg is that this guy is going to be the second overall pick. Now, the reason why I said that there might be some question with that in the first clip that I just made is because I've seen a lot of rankings where it's either he goes to San Jose or he goes to Chicago or Vancouver. There's a lot of ways this could go. Like, it seems like Gavin McKenna is the lock to go first overall. Second overall, it probably is Stenberg, but there are some people and some hockey outlets that think Chase Reed, the defenseman, is going to go to San Jose. So there's a lot of question surrounding that. We'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of the video, but let's get into his stats. We'll start off in 24-25, where he got his first taste of the SHL with Frölunda HC / the J20 club, which is like the American Hockey League equivalent to Sweden. So in the J20, where he spent most of his time, he would play 27 games, had 26 goals, 27 assists for 53 points. That's a really good outing there in the J20 league. Again, to be nearly, I would say that's nearly 2 points per game on average. That's very, very good, scoring 30 goals. He would get the call up to the HC, the main club, of course, where he would play 25 games, had a goal, 2 assists for 3 points. The parentheses on the stat sheets that you're seeing, whichever side of me that's on, that's his playoff numbers. He played 12 games in the Frölunda postseason. He had 3 goals, 3 assists for 6 points. So it was a good start there for Stenberg. And again, there was a lot of optimism regarding this kid in that draft year. We knew he was going to be a pretty good pick, whether that was top 10 or whatever. We knew this guy was going to be one of the better players in the draft. But obviously, again, you had to wait for his draft year, where he spent the full time with Frölunda HC. He also played internationally as well. He didn't really have that in his first year in 24-25. I believe he might have played in the U18s, but the U18s aren't looked at as crazy as the U20s are, per se. So in 25-26, with the main club, Frölunda HC, he had 43 games, had 11 goals, 22 assists for 33 points. Now, it's not crazy over point-per-game numbers and just, like, you know, mind-boggling stats. That's still very good, though, for a young kid. Again, you see it a lot. It's very common in some of these leagues, especially overseas, where the younger players don't get a lot of ice time, and they don't get as much opportunity, even though though, sure, they may be playing games, they're not getting the legitimate opportunity that other players on the team may have. Because I think it's because they're young, and these coaches may know they're not going to be there for very long and all this and that, whatever. And again, these leagues are much more defensive and much more difficult there too. So than it is comparatively speaking to the juniors and such. But yeah, I would say 33 points in 43 games is a very good stat line. And then in the playoffs, Frölunda's postseason run came to a close early. He would only have 4 assists in 6 games played in that playoff run this year. And then he would also put up numbers internationally. And this is where, like, again, you see the World Junior Championships. They're at the end of the calendar year every single year. And they really open the eyes to a lot of, like, the casual hockey fans about some of these prospects. And Stenberg performed really well. He won gold with Sweden in the World Juniors. He played 7 games, had 4 goals, 6 assists for 10 points. Great numbers. And again, he just, like, he's a guy who really, I saw, just like took over the game and just played some phenomenal hockey. And then you look at his other international stats that year. He played in the World Championships too. And I said this in the Gavin McKenna preview. I wonder why he didn't go over to the Worlds with his team being out so early. But Stenberg wanted to get more experience and more hockey to play. He played 8 games, had 4 goals, 4 assists for 8 points. If I'm remembering correctly, I believe Sweden's run ended a little bit early. I'm pretty sure they played Switzerland, and they lost. Switzerland was an absolute juggernaut until they got to the final again. But obviously, yeah, he put up great numbers. Point per game, you'll take that for sure. Again, like, he played as much hockey as he could this year, essentially, and he showed up every single time. So I'm looking forward to seeing Stenberg in the NHL. I'm really excited to see how he's going to perform. I'll be honest with you. I know that Gavin McKenna is from my college, Penn State, and obviously I'm a Penn State fan for those who do not know. But Stenberg might be my favorite prospect in this draft just because of the fact that I've seen him play so much hockey just internationally, and he's just looked awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing how he's going to do in the NHL. So we'll take a look at some of the player types that have been thrown out there for Stenberg over the last couple of weeks. These are via Elite Prospects, and I mentioned a couple of them in our Gavin McKenna preview. I recommend you go watching that. But the first one, cerebral tactician. He relies on great hockey sense and vision to make good plays. You saw this a lot in the World Juniors. It was really prevalent. His hockey IQ is phenomenal. And again, the way he can just move the puck and just, create plays, the vision that he has is awesome. And again, he's one of the better players in terms of that. Dangler. We did not use this for McKenna, but he has a very good technical skills and puck control. He's shifty and creative. So again, like, he's a really good puck mover. And McKenna is very good too. But I've seen a lot of people saying that Stenberg may have the best hands in the draft. He's got that. And also a playmaker. Again, this guy's not necessarily going to be known for scoring goals, is what I'm seeing. He's going to be known for creating those scoring opportunities with exceptional passing and vision. And seeing what he did in the World Juniors, I agree, he was a phenomenal passer and just had that great movement. You take a look now at the Hockey News' draft guide for 2026. Stenberg is ranked number 2, and the reason why I'm pulling this up is to read his player comp. His player comp, per the Hockey News, is Lucas Raymond. So I actually kind of do agree with that. I think that's a really good comparison. Because Lucas Raymond is known for his playmaking skills. He's also Swedish too, so I guess that helps. He's got phenomenal passing skills. Again, this is a guy who can rack up 70, 80 points a season, maybe even more than that. That's a really high bar to set for a player like Stenberg, but I think he's going to meet that bar. And in fact, I think he's going to exceed it. I think he's going to be better than Lucas Raymond, to be honest with you. But yeah, again, Stenberg, again, as I said, he's one of my favorite players in this draft, and he's being set a really high bar, and I can totally see him exceeding that bar if it's really Lucas Raymond that he's being compared to. So let's take a look at some of his highlights here, and credit to Delta Highlights for putting this highlights together. Again, I shouted them out in the other video. They do some great work over there, creating some good highlights, like the video, of course. All right, let's hop in. We're not going to go through the entire video here because my computer is very laggy, but you start this one off. This was his first goal of the World Juniors. We were not live for this game, but again, see the creativity right there, putting it through the 5-hole of the Slovak goaltender. Here's his goal against the United States. Right down low there on the back door. He's usually there a lot of the time, waiting for that backdoor pass. So a great play as well. And again, one thing that's very underrated about Stenberg is that he has a phenomenal shot, too. That's not really talked about very often when discussing Stenberg, and you see that right there. He does have a good shot. It's not the greatest shot in this draft. Some would argue, oh, McKenna has a better shot on all this and that, but it's definitely up there for sure. Take a look at this play here. Puts it through the legs, pass down low. Obviously, it did convert to a goal, but not initially. So, again, you just see the great movement there with the puck. Here's another play. Gets it around the defenders, has it down low in the corners, scoots it back around. Again, yeah, just like the IQ is next level from this kid. And great pass down low, and boom. And that was in the gold medal game, too. So just the way that this kid can take over a game and create opportunities is absolutely next level. And again, I remember all this because I commentated it. Just phenomenal. Here's some of his Frölunda highlights here. Again, just the shot, that angle. I remember that goal being shown a lot early in the year for Frölunda because of just Stenberg and just his skill. Again, you just see it here, creating another goal right there. Just phenomenal hockey sense and great movement. It's phenomenal. So in terms of where I think Stenberg's going to go right now in the draft, well, again, I think he's the second best prospect in this draft. But being the second best prospect doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be that second overall pick. So I've heard San Jose could be going after Chase Reed. I've heard Vancouver maybe going after Caleb Malhotra. If you ask me, I think San Jose should draft Stenberg and go trade for a defenseman. I would be shocked if he drops below third overall. I really would. I feel like this is a top 3 player. If he really falls down that low, whoever gets him below that fourth overall or below that third overall pick, whether it is Chicago or the Rangers, that is an absolute slam dunk steal. It really is. So we'll see what happens there with that. But we've heard some rumors surrounding it. And again, the draft is so far away. You're going to hear so many things between now and the draft on June 26th. But I think Stenberg is the second best player in this draft. And for that reason, he should go second overall. That is my prospect preview for Ivar Stenberg. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Hit the like button down below and subscribe if you are new. It would be greatly appreciated. But that is it for me. Thank you all for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.